So when we have addictions or compulsions or any sort of continuous negative pattern, it is really essential to understand energy and the balance and harmonizing of energy. So when we are involved in our addiction, we're spending an enormous amount of time doing the addiction compulsion or activities around it, trying to find ways to get it in case of drugs, or let's say it's internet addiction, the time we spend on it instead of other productive things. So we have a lot of energy, if you see it as a scale, in which we're doing the negative activity, let's say we up here, and a very low amount of time spent on productive and healthy things. So when we try to heal, when we do heal, it's very important to take this into consideration, the balance of energy, because sometimes we think by sheer will force we can just stop this activity that we've been doing, or this compulsion or this behavior that we've been involved in or acting like for years and years. We mistakenly think that we can just stop it in a day, a week, a month, a year. It takes time, and relapses do usually happen, and then we feel ashamed. But if we can understand that the more positive, healthy, and helpful activities and habits we can start to introduce alongside what we're already doing that may be negative and destructive, but we can start to trickle in and bring in positive things that will help to balance until eventually we're doing primarily good, healthy things and very little of the compulsive negative habits and behaviors. So for example, a few years ago when I really decided I was determined to heal, I knew that I had to start to bring in positive things. And so I started to meditate at first just once a day. That increased to twice a day until increased to any time that I was feeling a trigger, I would try to close my eyes and take deep breaths and feel different parts of my body and imagine them as colors. Or later on, I started to listen to Paul Romano, who does a great YouTube channel, Pockets of the Future, and he also discusses heartfulness meditation, tuning into the heart, meditating on the heart and the love of God. And, so I really imagine a lot of my body parts and the beating of my heart as a meditative act. Another thing is physical activity. It is essential to move the body. For myself, I couldn't move quickly at first. My body wasn't strong enough, but I started to do yoga more, stretching, light Pilates. This started to move energy around in my body. I could feel compacted or pent up energy shooting through my legs in sort of kind of amazing ways. I could feel it tingling out my toes as I stretched. And this was incredibly helpful in producing natural dopamine as well. So physical activity is beyond important. If you are addicted to the television, internet, or video games, often the body, has developed very poor posture. You can have tummy aches from being crunched over, bad eating habits as well. But if you can start to get outside and get some sunshine is essential at this point in our human evolution. And you can start to increase, again, natural dopamine. It's really important to become physically active. If you're an alcoholic, you can start by taking speed walks around the block, smelling nature, hearing the birds singing, bringing back natural life. And it can help even if you're doing it alongside, especially if you're doing it alongside your current compulsion or addiction. So physical activity, really start to do that. If it's small steps, stretch in the mornings, do whatever you can, even if you're in pain, obviously don't overexert yourself. But yes, physical activity is one thing we can do to start to equal harmonize, and then overcome positivity, overcome the negative things we've been doing. So thanks for listening, and have a great night.